So, welcome to our first Windows into Faith in the Workplace. I'm delighted to have Sam with me here today. My name is Clare Nutbrown Hughes, and this is a series we're going to take a look into people's faith lives, but particularly through COVID, we've not had the chance to experience our faith in the same rhythm that we normally do, based around a Sunday. So, we're especially going to be looking at faith in the workplace. And Sam, over to you to introduce yourself.
Thanks, Claire. Yeah, so I'm Sam and I'm 27, been going to Hope for about a year and a half now. And I became a Christian. In some ways I've been a Christian all my life. I grew up, my parents are Christian, and I remember a specific conversation with my mum when I was about 9, and I said, I've decided I want to be a Christian, and I can't remember what spurred that on, but I guess since then there's been a stronger faith journey, and that really excelled a lot when I was around 18, through a bunch of friends, and through what they were the experiences they had, what they were talking to me about and stuff, and came to Bristol, and I've just grown in faith more and more here.
Thank you. And so we're going to look at work, and if you could tell us a little bit about your work.
So I've got a couple of different businesses. One's called Found Here, and we retail lots of different ethical clothing brands. So that's a multi-brand retailer, so dealing with lots of different suppliers. And then got another company called Yes Friends, and we produce a $7.99 sustainable and ethical t-shirt. And that's our first product for that brand, and we'll be launching more as the year goes on.
What's a normal day look like for Sam?
A normal day. So hard to say a normal day, but where I am is I've got a shop down in town at Quakers Friars, in the centre of Bristol. So I'm often either there or I'm at home working, and so I can be doing everything from selling in store to doing accounts to designing a website to Instagram, etc., etc., etc.
And how you mentioned that's sustainable and an ethical product, so I imagine perhaps that your faith has been involved in coming to wanting to market that kind of product. Could you share with us that journey perhaps?
So in 2013, I went shopping one day and my conscience was just like, you can't buy anything that's not ethical. And I was thinking a lot about the conditions that garment workers were in, and low pay, and just couldn't bring myself to buy something where I thought that could have been the case. And so started looking into ethical clothing since then. And the thing which I feel like God's spoken to me most about is living wages within supply chains. And so have had that as a big focus as to what I want to make an impact in the future. And so, so I guess that journey of whether we want to say the conscience stuff is God or not, I really think God's spoken to me about the living wages thing. So that's like where I've wanted to focus in many ways for work.
And do you have people around you that know you're Christian in your workplace? Do you feel that impacts in any way on the way you interact with customers, with staff, with suppliers?
So my employee at Found Here, she knows that I'm a Christian, and when we opened the new store, I just prayed with her beforehand, and then with Yes Friends, there's 5 of us on that team, and everyone's a Christian on that team, so we all know we're Christians there. So I definitely think it affects the culture of both businesses, of how we do things and how we interact, and just really simple stuff like I guess I just really value creating a I guess you could call it kingdom culture of encouragement and kindness and all of those kind of things, and trying not to be too stressed at work and that kind of thing. Are, I think, super important values. So
do you feel there's a that God is leading in this? Do you feel that you're there to follow?
I think great question. Sometimes, and sometimes probably I'm like, am I definitely on the right track? Am I doing the right thing? I don't know. And I think, yeah, so there's definitely times when I'll feel God's leading on it, and there'll be times when I'll be like, I'm doing stuff and I'm not sure if it's definitely God who's leading me on this stuff. But I think when I look back at the overarching journey of what's happened, I'm like, wow, flip, God's definitely been leading on this, and this is not me. Yeah.
So has your faith been challenged in the workplace? Obviously, you're selling products, and that's to make money. It's a business. How do you find reconciling the ethical aims and the need to stay afloat and to make a profit to be viable? How does that work out?
Yeah, great question. How do those two things match together? So I think I think particularly with what we're doing with Yes Friends I think it's really important to, what we're trying to do is prove that sustainable and ethical can be affordable. And so in order to prove that claim, it has to be a profitable business. Otherwise otherwise the claim is just like, here's another good thing that someone's doing, and it can't really translate to other businesses. But if we can prove that actually we can create a sustainable business out of it, then we have a really strong point of view to put across. So I guess for Yes Friends, being profitable is essential. And obviously for Found Here, it's essential being profitable as well, because if it's not, then I don't know, then yeah, I can't pay anyone. So yeah, so I guess I don't see making profit as a bad thing. I don't think it's not in God's will, you know.
So Hope, as you're a member of Hope Church, and Hope has been meeting differently. It's been meeting online and now mixing in some outside meeting opportunities. How's your understanding of church changed throughout COVID, through the period of lockdown? How do you see, what does it mean to be church?
Yeah, I think it obviously look different for everyone. I live in a community house, so live with a bunch of other Christians, and so I think that's been like a really strong, like it's been a really good position to be in for lockdown, because we can worship together and pray together, and so in many ways we have church here, and then I've been following along with the live streams that's been going on at Hope and that kind of things. To be honest, like, I don't feel like for me it's changed massively what I thought about what it means to be a part of church, because it's all like, I think what we've missed is the Sunday gatherings and meeting up with lots of people, and focused on meeting up with fewer people. And so it will be so church for me has looked like a smaller group of people at the moment, and that's got its like positives and negatives, but for me I just see it as like a different stage of still church. And so it's when it goes back to Hope opening up, it will be great, we're back in this stage of church as well, where it's lots of people and meeting with lots of people from different backgrounds, and then we've had this period where it's been less people. And so yeah, I don't feel like it's fundamentally shifted my view of church.
So it's interesting, because perhaps lots of people would equate church with Sunday morning, end of, that's where it finishes. What's it like? Do you feel part of church throughout the week, or is it more, I'm living out my faith? Is there a sense of the church community around you, or is it an individual response to God?
Yeah, I think church is there's probably a technical theological definition of this, but I think it's massively about the community of Christians. And so because being surrounded by a community of Christians and being able to worship and pray with them, and then also having the teaching from Hope on Sundays, there's been a lot of those elements that make up church. Yeah, in I guess in my life over the last few months. Yeah.
So these last few months, there's been a lot of focus on what we've not been able to do, but at the same time, there have been opportunities to see life differently. I wonder if for you, Sam, there have been those moments where you've had a chance to step back and reappraise and find a new way forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think over the last, I think for COVID has been in many ways very difficult, and then in other ways, as you say, has provided this amazing opportunity for different things to grow. And so personally, for me, with a lot of space from the physical store being open, I've had loads of time to learn and grow in loads of different skills. And that was kind of like the first 9 months of COVID, or 6 months maybe. And then I had this idea for a new business, and again had the time to be able to set that up. And we also opened up a new store during that time, and again had the time to do a shop fit and all of those kind of things. And so there was these opportunities that came about from it, and I can see how God had personally used that time for me to be able to do all this learning, which has then enabled me to set up this new business, which has been amazing to see that journey.
That's fantastic. It's fantastic to hear about new opportunities, new openings in this time. So just perhaps end on, what is it about your work that you love, Sam, that gets you out of bed in the morning?
I love lots and lots of parts of it. So I really like the people who I work with. I like the mission that we're on, of providing living wages and supply chains. And I really like the variety. We just do so many different things. So today I've been in store on a call talking about press stuff, then on a call talking about accounts, and it's just like these really random different areas which you end up getting involved with, which is really fun. And so I just love the variety, basically diversity of the role.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sam. Great to talk with you today.
You too.
Bye.
See you later.